Our video is going to be a little short and sweet because I wanted to have some fun with Silas. We've been focusing so much on exposure and obedience and tolerating things and duration, like all those work dog things. But you also have to remember that he's still very young. So you have to have some decompression time. So I worked on some rules of play with Silas today. And the rules are very simple. Whenever he drops a toy, he gets another toy. And he can do some simple obedience in exchange for a toy. Now, he's a little tired because we've been doing this for quite a while now, in between some exposure opportunities that we did. But I'm going to try and get him to demonstrate this for you. Silas, yep. Kitty. Go kitty. Go kitty, sir. This was his favorite when we first got started. He loved the toucan. Now he's kind of over the toucan. But donut. Do you care about donut? No? So ideally, he'd be a little more, oh, there we go, a little more enthusiastic. And you want to wait for him to drop the toy. Yep, good boy. That's when you mark, and you can either give him cookies for the drop and then snatch the toy back up, or you can have another toy ready to go and throw that one for him to interact with instead. Now, the reason why these rules of play are so important is because inevitably he's going to pick up something that he shouldn't. And what we're really practicing here is an out cue. We're just capturing the moment that he voluntarily does that behavior of dropping the item and then rewarding it. That kind of introduces this idea of, oh, when I drop something, I get something from my handler. So it's good things, right? It's good things. Yeah, there you go. So again, we're going to let him play with it. He gets to have some fun. We wait for him to voluntarily drop the item. Might take a second. Yep, good boy. And then he gets snacks from us for outing the item, okay? That is the cue that I usually prefer, out. It's just very unique as opposed to down, which can sound a lot like drop if you're just kind of running through the cues real quick. So out is just a very specific cue. If you want to use something else, drop it, give, something like that, feel free to let me know, and I can introduce that verbally during our next Rules of Play session. But for now, your goal for this week is when you are playing with him, try to introduce this constructive learning opportunity with a couple of toys that you know he's enthusiastic about. So if he's into taking one toy and going after it, wait for him to drop it and lose interest in it. Mark that moment and then give him some snacks or let him play with a second toy as a reward for that behavior, okay? In the midst of this, which we did all over the office today, I wanted you to have some fun. We've been working so hard together. So in the midst of this, we did do a little bit of loose leash work outside because it was raining, and that can actually affect dogs' behavior if it's soggy outside. They might be less willing to stick with you. They might be less willing to sit or perform obedience in wet circumstances. And that proved true for him today. He had a bit of a harder time initially maintaining that loose leash position. But, yep, good boy. I know you moved a chair. But I focused on the timing of my marker. That's all it took. Just to remind him that, hey, you can work through this and there are still cookies waiting for you. When you do the right things, when you keep the leash loose between us, and when you stay to my left side, you still get cookies. Yes, yes. In the midst of our outdoor exercise, we had a wonderful opportunity to greet a young child, not too young, otherwise I would not have allowed this to happen. She was probably around 8 or 10, I'm going to say. She was African American. She had a hood on because it was raining, and she was familiar with Dobermans. She has 4 Dobermans at home, so she was not scared of him or confused or worried about approaching him. But she was very polite and did not just start coming at us. And because she was very polite and did not just start coming at us to try and say hi, I asked if she wanted to say hello. She wanted to very badly, so I did let Silas approach her and be a little naughty and kind of throw hands and do the Silas thing where he jumps up. But I allowed this because we want to take any chance we can to help him have positive experiences with ethnicities, with age groups, with experiences that he otherwise will not be experiencing or interacting with except in a work setting. We want him to gain those confident interactions, so that we don't get surprise barking fits like we do sometimes from dogs that are not as well socialized. He did well. Initially, he was very shy and a little confused as to why this miniature human was walking towards him, but he didn't react with anything more than just a little bit of a hesitation. Once she just let him sniff, though, she even did this. She just held out her hand, he targeted her hand, and then did this move where he jumped on her to give her a couple of face kisses. I issued the let's go cue, and he came away with me very nicely. So it was a wonderful experience. Everybody walked away happy. Just a really great opportunity that we were able to take advantage of today. And then, Sarah, do you not eat the stuffing? He's not a good choice. Where was I? Oh, then we got some opportunities to practice our duration in the lobby space as usual before we moved up here and did a little rules of play exercise. So just a lot of good exposure and a little bit of fun for him today. Make sure to introduce these constructed play sessions. Sit. Yep. As part of your day-to-day routine because he's still a baby. And yes, he's allowed to have fun, but we can make this a learning opportunity for him too. So we can wait for him to drop the item and then capture that moment whenever it happens. Yep. Good boy. And give him snacks as a reward. Yep, you did it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing him later this week. Yes.